If you're watching this, I'm pretty sure that you're an avid Funko Pop collector. So you are probably already aware that last week, Funko released a flocked Energizer Bunny at Icon Pop on the Funko-Shop. For you non-avid Funko Pop collectors, Funko is a company that makes the Funko Pops, which are the figurines, and Funko-Shop is their official store online where they release limited editions, numbered pieces, pretty much Funko's own exclusives. And historically, the Funko-Shop exclusives have sold out very fast, some within minutes, some even faster, some within the hour, and some in a day. I'm not saying every single one historically has sold out that quickly, but there was a time that a Funko-Shop exclusive would not last very long on the site at all. And it was like every Wednesday when they were released, it was a race to the computer to get these Funko-Shop exclusives, to see who was the fastest and the luckiest, because a lot of the time they were numbered. They were actually limited in the truest form of the word. There was 2,000 of them, 3,000 of them. If there was more, there was a very high demand. So most people getting them were keeping them for their collections because of the character and the excitement of having something rare and unique that wasn't in everybody else's collection. It's no fun to look at your friends' collections if they look exactly like yours. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of Funko making very popular characters, or even characters with a small fan base but a very hardcore fan base, 500 pieces, or even 1,000 pieces. I'm not too big a fan of that, but I do think that exclusivity and the word limited shouldn't be thrown around all willy-nilly. What I'm getting at is that the rumor is that Funko made 20,000 flocked Energizer Bunnies for the Funko-Shop alone. And the way people know this is that there are plugins for Google Chrome that can count the inventory of a website. I don't know how accurate they are, because who knows, like what if these websites can put a fake inventory to kind of combat this? So the plugin reads a fake inventory. Who knows? I'm not sure that the Spy vs. Spy games go that deep. And judging from the fact that these didn't sell out and it's now been a week and it's still not sold out, maybe that 20,000 number is accurate. And remember, that's just the Funko-Shop. Because now that Funko has opened up a flag store in Everett, Washington, the Funko-Shop exclusives are available there as well. And that's a pretty big store. Not sure how big their storage is. Not sure how many they got for the store. But it's got to be at least another few thousand. And who knows if they're going to release the flocked Energizer Bunny overseas and have it be an exclusive of some other company like Pop Culture or something. And who knows how many they're going to produce for that. Not sure if Energizer is a worldwide company. Not sure if it's just American or not. Didn't do my research on that. So even if the overseas doesn't apply to Energizer, it does apply to other Funko-Shop exclusives. There was also a rumor that this flocked Energizer Bunny was going to be available at GameStop and ThinkGeek because you were able to pre-order it. Ultimately, what might happen with that is just that you'll get your money refunded and that was a mistake. Or maybe Funko has some kind of deal with GameStop and ThinkGeek, because GameStop and ThinkGeek are sister stores. Maybe they have some kind of deal with them that if these Funko-Shop exclusives don't sell out within a month or 2 months on Funko-Shop.com, that ThinkGeek and GameStop can get them to try to sell them and like liquidate them out. Because I believe that there has been some Funko-Shop exclusives spotted at ThinkGeek. So it's hard to tell if they're making more of them for GameStop and ThinkGeek, if that does pan out to become true that they are going to be available there, or if those stores are just getting the back stock, that didn't sell on the website. Hard to tell there. Either way, conservatively speaking, there has to be at least 23, 24, maybe 25,000 of these flocked Energizer Bunnies. And that is a huge number for a collectible, about a battery mascot, okay? And I do want to mention that Funko did do one of the worst things that they do, which is immediately double dip, because the common Energizer Bunny just came out. And I had told myself that the Energizer Bunny was just too ripe for the flocking. Like, I knew that they were gonna eventually flock this one, so I held off on that one because I knew this was gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon, but I knew it was gonna happen. So you gotta remember how many of the common Energizer Bunnies are out there. And maybe if that common Energizer Bunny was released a year ago, 2 years ago, then you might get some of those guys to double dip for this flocked one. But the people that just bought it a couple of weeks ago probably feel like shit because here they bought the common when they could have had a much superior flocked one, which actually didn't sell out and is still available. Yeah, it's more expensive, but, you know, who would rather have a non-flocked bunny, even if you're paying $6 or $7 more for this one? But yeah, this being this high of a run, it seems like I'm making a big deal about how many they made, over 20K. But that's just because I remember the Funko-Shop exclusives never had runs that high. I remember they had a Jungle Batman, which is basically like, you know, just another Batman pop, but he has like this fur loincloth kind of thing on. So it's funny. It's basically the Batman mask with a fur loincloth on, and he's like topless and, you know, he's naked but with a loincloth and a Batman cowl, which looks ridiculous. But it's funny. The reason I bring the Jungle Batman up though is because at the time, that pop had a run of 10,000, and they even put 10,000 on the Funko-Shop website. Most of the time, they used to put the number of pops created on the Funko-Shop because it always used to be very low. It used to be 3,000, 3,500, 5,000, maybe 6,000. But I remember the Jungle Batman was the first one that had that 10,000 production run number on there. And I remember talking with other Funko Pop collectors and thinking, wow, 10,000, that's kind of a lot. That's kind of, can you really keep calling it numbered or limited or even exclusive when you're making that many? I guess technically, yeah, the word exclusive means it's just available in one place. So they can make 1 million of them. As long as you can only buy it in one place, that's exclusive. But limited? The literal meaning of limited is restricted in size. So I guess, yeah, 20,000 is still restricted in size, even though it's 20,000. So restricted in size, amount, or extent, few, small, or short. Few, small, and short. 20,000 could be a small amount if we're talking about grains of sand on a beach, right? Or if we're talking about gallons of Coca-Cola produced a year. But we're talking about a collectible, and a 20K run isn't so small anymore because the market for a flocked Energizer Bunny isn't that big. So getting back to that Jungle Batman, he was one of the first pops that I remember on the Funko Shop not selling out within a few minutes. That was an actual Funko Pop, not a Dorbs, not a Hikari, none of the other stuff that Funko makes. An actual Funko Pop of one of the most popular characters, if not the most popular character, Batman, that went live on Wednesday, stayed there all day, and then stayed there a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It actually took it a few months to sell out, and it could have been Batman fatigue. The pop was just too weird, and people didn't get the humor of it. And it could also be that they made 10,000 of them, and people thought it was going to be something that did not gain value because of the high number, or something that wasn't unique enough to add to a collection. Because a lot of these obscure characters don't have the emotional attachment, where it doesn't matter how many they made, how valuable or how rare. When you have an emotional attachment to a character, you just get it. But some of these Funko Shop exclusives, I mean, I can't see somebody having too big of an emotional attachment to the Energizer Bunny. So it seems absurd to make so many, especially when you just release the common. I also want to talk about Ad Icons were and still is one of the most popular Funko Pop lines. They're great. I love them. Pretty much everybody that collects Funko that I know loves them. Of course, not everybody, but a lot of people really do like the ad icons. And there was a time that Funko could not make an ad icon last more than a couple of minutes on that Funko Shop. Tony the Tiger sold out within a minute. Toucan Sam, the same. Most all of them. And of course, a big part of it is the prices. Like the Fruit Brute and the Yummy Mummy. Actually, I remember that one taking like 45 minutes to sell out. And I didn't buy it at the time because I was, oh, Funko's making too many ad icons. And stupidly, I didn't get those. Still, it took 45 minutes to sell out. And now they're very expensive. So, of course, the speculation market is a big factor as well as collectors. What this all points to, though, is kind of something that should be a little bit alarming to Funko, I think. Not that Funko is in trouble, not that Funko Pops are becoming less popular, or they're becoming Beanie Babies, or they're losing all their value, because they're not really. I have a pretty big collection, and I see my pop price guide fluctuate between $100 down, $100 up, $200 down, $200 up, and I have a $20,000 collection. If I had a $500 collection and it halved in price, then that's a little scary, right? Or a $20,000 collection that all of a sudden became $10,000, then you go, okay, Funko is losing its value. But to go from 20,000 to 19,800 or 20,200, I feel isn't indicative of a big crash in the Funko Pop market. But I do think releases like this flocked Energizer Bunny does give you a little bit of an insight into what collectors are thinking. It could be anything from, we don't want to be double dipped, I've already spent too much money on Funko this year, and spending $23 on this flocked Energizer Bunny just wasn't something that anybody wanted to do. Or it could be that people now have these tools where they can see exactly how many were made and just don't have the room for something that's not going to gain value anymore. Basically making super high runs of a product that used to have a low run. And that's one of the things that got people into collecting them, was that they were hard to get, was that some people were going to miss out and some people weren't. You know, the thrill of the hunt, or just being one of the lucky few that was just able to get it online and some people didn't. Changing that just isn't a wise thing to do. Funko has really improved their designs, and that's great. And of course, you know, better designs, better manufacturing. It's all more expensive, so they have to sell more or either make them more expensive, which I would prefer. You know, instead of paying $10 for a pop, I'd rather pay 11 or 12 if I felt that in a few months' time, my value was going to be doubled. But now there's a lot of pops that I feel if you buy them, their value is actually going to go down because there are just too many of them out there. And I know it's almost like a dirty word, but this kind of pattern of a pop you think would be popular with collectors, you know, an ad icon, flocked, limited, Funko-Shop, recognizable character, you think that's catnip for collectors. But when collectors aren't buying those, it means that the casual consumers aren't buying them either. And it's kind of indicative of a bubble, like the comic book bubble of the 90s, the Beanie Baby bubble of the 90s. You take something that's really, really popular, strip it of why it's popular, and expect the same results. It's just not going to happen. I think Funko needs to cut way, way back on the double dipping. If you bought a Chester Cheetah now, a common one, guess what? I'm 99% sure they're going to make a flocked Chester Cheetah down the line. And you're not going to be able to get rid of that common Chester Cheetah you have unless you give it away to somebody. And probably not another collector. You have to give it away to a kid, and they're probably not going to know who Chester Cheetah is. If they keep making runs that are so high that there's no chance of selling out, there's no urgency, there's no fear of missing out, this is going to continue to happen. Pops will devalue, and it just won't be fun to collect anymore because there's no challenge, there's no monetary incentive, and just psychologically, you know, people want what other people want, and there's no one left wanting. And Funko also recently released another ad icon on the Funko-Shop, the owl from the Tootsie Roll Pops commercial. You know, the takes 3 licks or 2 licks to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. Everybody knows it from their childhood. Well, everybody my age. I'm not sure if they still play the Tootsie Pop commercials for, you know, people under 20. But a lot of Funko Pop collectors are in their 30s. So you'd think the owl from the Tootsie Roll commercial would be super popular. But again, the rumor is on that one that they made way too many. I want to say $16K for that one. And he's not flocked. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they put out a flocked version of him down the line as well. So people get nervous about pulling the trigger because these Funko Shop exclusives aren't cheap. They're $23. If they would have released that owl a year ago, 2 years ago, even if they would have made around 6,000, I think it would have sold out in a heartbeat because people weren't as burned from double dipping. People's collections weren't so insanely big, and these runs weren't so high. If Funko continues this, all they're doing is training their consumer to just wait. Just wait, because eventually these pops will go on sale. They'll go in a mystery box where I can buy 6 of them for $30 instead of 1 for $23. They may get sent to other stores, or I can pick it up at some pop swap event for $5 or something down the line. They're training the consumer to think that way by being too greedy and producing too much. All that said, I did get this one the first minute because I did think it was going to sell out and I had no idea they made 20K. But not sure I'm going to keep doing that. You know, at the end of the day, it's still hard to know what's going to sell out and what's not. But it's becoming clearer and clearer that Funko Shop exclusives just do not sell out anymore. And it's a combination of collecting fatigue, shady practices, and overproduction. All right, guys, didn't mean to go on so long about this. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's a very minor problem in the world. I get that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you think this is indicative of some kind of bubble about to burst. If you like this because it just makes it easier for everybody to get everything. What you think about some of these exclusives maybe having a higher run than even the common. Whether you think exclusives should be shared with more than one place. Kinda doesn't make it exclusive anymore. Or anything else you'd like to say. Thanks for watching and take it easy.